Imagine being born literally attached to another person, at the head, brain to brain, skull to skull. That was the reality for two baby girls named Liz and Mel. Their story is so rare, so emotional, and so inspiring that it still gives me chills every time I tell it. When their mother, Camila Vieira, found out she was pregnant with twins, she and her husband were over the moon. They started planning their future, picking out names, dreaming about the life they would have. But at the 10-week ultrasound, the doctor's face changed. The words that came out of his mouth would shatter any parent's heart. Your babies are conjoined at the skull. The condition is called craniophagus. It happens in roughly 1 in 2. 5 million births. Most doctors will never see a case like this in their entire career. The survival rate is extremely low. Many parents in this situation are told to prepare for the worst. But Camila refused to give up. Deep down, she felt her girls were fighters. On June 1st, 2018, in Brasilia, Brazil, Liz and Mel were born. When Camila first saw them, her heart broke and filled with love at the same time. Their heads were fused together, facing opposite directions. She later admitted something every mother in her position would feel. I kept asking myself, did I do something wrong? Was this my fault? The doctors gently told her no. This wasn't caused by anything she ate, did, or didn't do. It was a random developmental error early in the pregnancy. The girls were stable. That was the first miracle. But the next 10 months would test Camila and her husband like they never imagined. Caring for conjoined twins joined at the head is something most of us cannot even comprehend. The girls had two completely different personalities. Even then, one would want to crawl one way, while the other wanted to go the opposite direction. Their little bodies were constantly being pulled and twisted. Feeding them was a nightmare. Bathing them was a carefully choreographed dance, and sleep, almost non-existent. Camila said it best: if one woke up crying, she would wake the other. We were trying to console two babies at the same time, who were literally attached to each other. It was exhausting. I barely slept for months. But the hardest part wasn't just the physical exhaustion. It was watching her daughters suffer. They had no freedom, Camila said with tears in her eyes. Each had her own mind. They wanted to do different things, but they couldn't. It was like they were trapped, forced to compromise every single second of their lives. Camila and her husband held on to hope. They waited for the day the doctors would say the girls were strong enough for separation surgery. That day finally came when the twins were 10 months old. On April 27, 2019, one of the most complex surgeries in Brazilian medical history began. A team of nearly 50 specialists, led by world-famous pediatric neurosurgeon Dr. James Goodrich, stepped into the operating room. What followed was an unbelievable 23-hour marathon surgery, broken into more than 36 separate stages. The operation was so delicate that at certain points the doctors were literally separating blood vessels that were feeding both brains. For 23 hours straight, Camila and her husband sat in agonizing silence, jumping every time a nurse came out with an update. The fear was suffocating. They knew the survival rate for craniophagus separation surgery is often below 25%. But these girls were different. After almost a full day of surgery, the doctor finally walked out and gave them the news they had prayed for. Both girls survived. They had been successfully separated. When Camila saw her daughters lying in 2 separate beds for the first time, the tears came like a flood. The sight she had dreamed about for nearly a year was finally real. The road to recovery was still long. For the next 6 months, the family lived in and out of the hospital. But slowly, beautifully, the girls began to thrive. 1 year after the surgery, something magical had happened. Liz and Mel were no longer just surviving. They were living. They had distinct personalities now that they could finally express them. Mel became the bubbly, smiley one, always laughing, but also quick to show her sassy side. Liz was more affectionate and gentle, but also more shy and observant. Their mother says with the biggest smile, they're opposites in so many ways, but they still have this beautiful connection. And now they're free to swim, free to run in different directions, free to argue like normal sisters, free to become exactly who they were meant to be. Camila often says the 10 months before the surgery showed her exactly what their lives would have been like if they had never been separated. That painful experience made her appreciate every single moment she now gets to witness. And when you look at the bigger picture, it truly is miraculous. Most conjoined twin pregnancies end in miscarriage or stillbirth. Only about 18% of conjoined twins survive birth. Of those, many don't make it through the first day. Liz and Mel beat every single one of those odds. Today, the only reminder of their incredible journey are 2 faint scars on their heads. Their story is proof of what happens when incredible medicine, unbreakable parental love, and pure fighting spirit come together. Camila says it best. Whenever I stop and think about everything we went through, I cry with joy. My girls are a miracle. They really are God's miracle in our lives. And honestly, it's hard to argue with her. If this story moved you, drop a like and comment "Miracle" below. Which part touched you the most? Subscribe for more incredible true stories every week.